2008, for the first time in history, the number of people living in cities exceeded the number of people living in rural areas. The number of people moving into cities is expected to continue to skyrocket, and the UN predicts that the urban populations will increase by more than 1 billion people between 2010 and 2025. In the United States, 80% of people now live in cities. Since cities first began 12,000 years ago, there has always been agricultural practices. Any person anywhere should be able to grow and provide for the community. In the United States, more than a third of adults and 17% of children suffer from obesity. In the meantime, 49 million Americans live in food insecure households, either going hungry or lacking proper nutrition. We are not eating enough healthy foods, and part of the solution to starting healthy is to grow it locally and find ways in which our community can benefit. When thinking about food's carbon footprint, you should consider the greenhouse emissions produced by growing, rearing, farming, processing, transporting, storing, cooking, and disposing of the food you eat. For example, let us look at the carbon footprint for the ingredients of a pizza and consider the shortest travel distance for each ingredient. Let's add tomato to our pizza that is a travel distance of 15 miles. Jalapenos travel 51.9 miles. Mushrooms travel 43.5 miles. Green peppers travel 43.2 miles. Onions travel 43.7 miles. We ask ourselves, at a time when we are running short on water and land, and most of our food is shipped from hundreds and even thousands of miles away, why don't we grow our food right where we live?
I live in South Central. This is South Central. Liquor stores, fast food, vacant lots. So the city planners, they get together and they figure they're going to change the name South Central to make it represent something else. So they change it to South Los Angeles. Like this is going to fix what's really going wrong in the city. This is South Los Angeles. Liquor stores, fast food, vacant lots. Just like 26.5 million other Americans, I live in a food desert. South Central Los Angeles, home of the drive-through and the drive-by. Funny thing is, the drive-throughs are killing more people than the drive-bys. People are dying from curable diseases in South Central Los Angeles. For instance, the obesity rate in my neighborhood is like 5 times higher than, say, Beverly Hills, which is like probably 8-10 miles away. I got tired of seeing this happening. And I wonder, how would you feel if you had no access to healthy food? If every time you walk out your door, you see the ill effects that the present food system have on your neighborhood? I see wheelchairs bought and sold like used cars. I see dialysis centers popping up like Starbucks. And I figured this has to stop. So I figured that the problem is the solution. Food is the problem, and food is the solution.
When did you start working in agriculture?
I started since I was a little kid. My parents would take us to work to help them out in anything we could.
What types of crops do you grow?
The most recent is strawberries, but we've done squash, tomatoes, and a lot of different other, like lettuce and vegetables.
So is it based on the season of the crop?
Yes.
How does the climate affect you?
A typical outfit is just a hat, a sweater, and some jeans, just to protect you from the sun.
What is the most labor-intensive part about working in the field?
Honestly, the whole thing is labor-intensive, everything about it. Even if you're working by hour or by commission, everything it requires a lot of physical strength and mentally.
Why are we still using people to farm instead of having the entire process mechanized or automized?
Because first thing is the crop is very delicate. I mean, you can't really program a robot to pick a strawberry like just when it's just right. That's something people are better at.
Do you think it's possible for large-scale farming techniques to be applied to urban farming?
It requires a lot of land, so it won't be
at the same scale.
Yeah, it won't work in the city because it's not just because of the soil, but the temperature, the weather, everything. I mean, if there's a lot of people, it creates heat and it'll just ruin the crop.
Do you know of any recycling water systems in use for large-scale farms?
Yeah, they don't have any systems like that in the fields. I mean, it's just whatever you use. If you use it correctly, good. If not, well, nobody knows and nobody cares.
Do you think that urban farming will only be popular amongst people with a background in agriculture?
Yeah, I mean, technology obviously has a big plays a big role in this because the new generation that's growing up right now, they don't really know what it's like to grow your own plants, and we all just, I guess we just depend on robotics or engineering to do it for us. So I guess urban farming would be more beneficial for them, the newer generation than the older.
I think there are several remarkable successes in our modern agricultural system, but there are also significant failures. Modern agriculture feeds over 6 billion mouths each day, and we've come a really long way through more efficient farming practices to be able to feed all those mouths. But on the flip side, it's not without negative consequences. Agriculture is the largest consumer of land on the planet. It's the largest consumer of fresh water. It's the cause of the lion's share of global water pollution. You're starting to see efforts being made from all corners of the globe, all gearing toward a more efficient form of farming.
I care about the environment.
About hunger.
About food.
1/3 of all food produced worldwide is wasted.
And we needlessly pollute by shipping perishables all over the world.
That's why I believe in buying seasonal, local, whole foods.
Unless it's inconvenient.
I always buy produce from my local farmer's market, unless it's raining.
Or if it's too hot outside. Or too cold.
Or if I wake up too late. Or if I have something else going on that day.
But otherwise, yeah, totally. Farmer's market. Because the food we buy affects all of us.
All of us.
When I support local farmers, I support my own community.
I support a cleaner environment for everyone.
So when I do get to the farmer's market, I'm making a difference. Except I don't buy onions there because they're like $5 for a single onion.
I could buy a whole bag of onions at the grocery store for that.
Ooh, and meat.
Right, I don't get meat there. Or milk.
I mean, it looks great,
It looks delicious.
but I'm not made of money, and I'm not sure I'd be able to taste the difference.
Do you prefer to go to the farmer's market instead of a grocery store?
Absolutely. It depends.
Depends on what we're buying.
What you're buying.
Okay.
So like what are the things that you would
I go to the farmer's market to buy bulk products like 25, 50 pounds of things I put a can. And then we garden ourselves. So in the summer we make our own produce.
yeah.
In the winter, organic markets in our area are too expensive.
Yeah, I would say so. Support like our local businesses and local grown stuff and the fresh fruits and all that. Definitely, I would definitely say yeah.
Tried or thought about growing your own food?
No, not that entrepreneurial.
Yeah, very much.
The idea, I prefer my own garden, but we live on 5 acres, so we've got a big garden.
We're on state now.
Do you like the idea of growing your own food in a community garden or urban farm?
Oh, I love that idea. Absolutely.
I like the idea.
You can grow a garden. You can grow a salad garden in a pot. So everyone could have a garden.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Cristian Chavez. I'm a student at Newschool of Architecture+Design, and today we're here at Brian Malarkey's Green Acre. We're here at the urban farm that provides the restaurant with organic vegetables that the restaurant needs. It's managed by Urban Plantation, and today we're gonna interview a few of the workers about what urban farming means to them and many of the things that goes into maintaining this farm. What does urban farming mean to you?
Well, urban farming conventional farming. It's farming in a city, in an urban setting. So for so long, architects and people building cities have just been using brick and mortar and buildings and skyscrapers. I find I've taken it on like a personal duty to sort of help turn that around for reasons of community, health, just aesthetics too. So.
What are the health benefits for the people working in urban farming and the people consuming the food?
I've read a lot about the benefits of interaction with soil. So soil is extremely active with biodiversity. And so if we're working in soil and you happen to have a cut or, through your fingernails, it's getting in there. And it's been known to help with your immune system. You're taking in more diversity of microbacteria, and it just helps the human body. I can't get into the details of it, but I know that it's really beneficial. Vitamin D, being in the sun, being outside, being in touch with nature, as opposed to sitting in an office all day. There's a lot of stress relief involved with good, hard work, that's just working here. But then there's also the way that we feed the soil, which then feeds the plant, which then feeds us. So a carrot isn't a carrot isn't a carrot. A carrot, it depends on how you fertilized and how you treated the soil that it grew in, what kind of a life it had. So we amend heavily with micronutrients and fungal bacteria activity to really supercharge each carrot or fruit or whatever it is. It's not the same as just going and getting a carrot at Vaughn's. Ours is going to have more vitamins in it, so.
What are the economics of urban farming?
It's somewhere where maybe if you start crunching the numbers and pit it next to something like conventional farming on a massive scale, it's not going to be the same. That's been the job of conventional farmers since the 1950s, is to cut costs and increase productivity. But what's happened is that, sure, you have a lot more productivity, but the quality has gone down. When you do monoculture, which is just, like a huge field of just corn, you leave yourself very susceptible to pest, disease. So that's why those guys end up using pesticides, all kinds of toxic chemicals on their plants that ends up in your body. So I take it personally. I feel like it's my goal to help at least reverse that, because a diverse farm is going to give you much more than, maybe not in dollars, but in, like I was saying, the health benefits of it, and it's just going to be a better quality carrot than 20,000 so-so carrots, So, maybe it doesn't compare economically, but some of the benefits aren't measurable.
How do you compare this urban farm with large city chain stores?
I don't see it as a competition so much as, the market will decide. So that's why I love the saying of you vote with your fork. So if you keep going to Vaughn's and buying, then you're just supporting non-organics. Plus like the health benefits. I mean, you can maybe get cheaper food, but in 10, 20 years, you're going to be ill, you're going to have heart problems, you're going to have diabetes, and you're going to end up paying a lot more for medical bills. So if you pay a little bit more for good quality food, you're going to have a longer, healthier life. I mean, I think it's a good investment. It's not competition. I see Whole Foods as, part of they're fighting alongside us, because if you go to Whole Foods, you can see, Steely Farms, Susie's Farms, and, all these different places that they're sourcing local farms, not like this one, but other farms, a little more production, that are using organic methods. So I take my hat off to them. I think they're great. It's a little more expensive and it turns a lot of people off. But like I said earlier, if you look at the benefit, it's just a dollar. It's worth my heart being, healthy.
Rooftop farming and green roofing business is Brooklyn Grange. They operate the world's largest rooftop soil farms located on 2 rooftops in New York City. They grow over 50,000 pounds of organically cultivated produce per year. Brooklyn Grange provides urban farming and green roof consulting and installation services to clients worldwide, along with growing and distributing fresh local vegetables and herbs. Brooklyn Grange works with nonprofit organizations throughout the city to promote healthy and strong local communities.
We have 55 kilowatts of solar panels on site that help to meet the electrical demands of the facility. We capture all of our irrigation water for reuse, so we use about 10 times less water than conventional farming. We eliminate any sort of pesticide use, any fertilizer runoff, which is a large cause of global water pollution. We stick to organic seeds, non-GMO. We have a team of 20 people working 52 weeks a year. We're building 2 additional greenhouse facilities this year. One of them is going to be a 20,000 square foot greenhouse. Actually, we're partnering with Whole Foods Market to build one of the world's first, if not the first, commercial greenhouse integrated into a supermarket.
At the new store, we're excited that we're going to be able to show the community, the customers, and hopefully some students how their food is grown. We're educating the people about where their food comes from. I think we're able to show people that you can do this right in the city, that what you might think the word farm means is not just somewhere far away from you that is very pastoral, that it can really be right in the city.